Hare Krishna. Today we are going to study the verse number 27 and 28 of the 5th chapter of Bhagwat Gita as it is. We are almost about to complete this chapter and about to begin the 6th chapter, and the name of the 6th chapter is Dhyan Yoga. So in today's verse, Krishna is giving an introduction about the Dhyan Yoga to Arjun by the process of Ashtang Yoga. In the 5th chapter, from verse number 24, we have come to know about Brahma Nirvana, in which it is explained the meaning of Brahma Nirvana and who can attain it. We have understood that the person who has controlled lust and anger and who finds happiness within himself, which means that he has the complete knowledge that he is a spirit soul and a part of Supreme Krishna. And Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, supreme proprietor, and the eternal friend of every living entity, be it an ant or an elephant, a fish or a bird, a tree or four-legged animal or an insect. Krishna is within the heart of every living entity as Paramatma. One who knows this truth is always absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna, as he can see Krishna everywhere, and he never has any desire to enjoy the material world because he knows that Krishna is the ultimate proprietor and the proprietor is meant to enjoy. This person neither claims to be a friend of anyone, nor does he think that anyone other than Krishna is his friend. And this person also knows that the reason of all kinds of pain, sorrow, and sufferings is due to the forgetfulness of Krishna. So, he is always in the mission to tell everyone and anyone that Krishna is the ultimate proprietor, ultimate enjoyer, and ultimate friend and well-wisher. And Krishna says that this person is a real social worker, as he feels for everyone's pains and sufferings. So he is always reminding others about Krishna. And this person is sure to be liberated after the destruction of his present material body, which means that he will surely attain the stage of Brahma Nirvana. Now, everyone cannot attain this stage because there are many people who are body-centric, who relate themselves with their body. And for them, Krishna has suggested Karma Yoga, so that by the gradual practice of Karma Yoga, they may become, which means having no desire for any kind of sense enjoyment, and then the person realizes that he is not his body. Rather, he is spirit soul and a part of Krishna. By the practice of Nishkam Karma Yoga, the person gets purified and is capable to acquire the knowledge of the Supreme Lord Krishna, though through the process of Jnana Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. So basically, these are the different rungs of the same ladder, which eventually leads a person to experience the eternal bliss of Brahma Nirvana. In today's verse, Krishna is going to introduce Dhyan Yoga to Arjun, as Arjun is still in the bodily concept of life, but certainly he is Nishkam. He does not have any desire to enjoy the material world. In chapter number 2, verse number 8, Arjun said, Nahi prapashyami mamapanudyat Shokumuchoshanam indriyanam avapya bhumav asapatnam riddham rajyam suranam api chadhipatyam. It means that Arjun said, I can find no means to drive away this grief. Arjun said to Krishna that Krishna, I can find no means to drive away this grief which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to destroy it even if I win an unrivaled kingdom on the earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. So it's very clear that we know Arjun was completely nishkam, though he was illusioned about his real self, but he was not at all desirous to enjoy the material world. This kind of thought is the prerequisite to understand Bhagavad Gita as it is. Now let us come back to our today's verse and recite the verse number 27 and 28 and try to understand what Krishna is going to explain to Arjun about Ashtang Yoga. Sparshan kritva bahirbahyan chakshucheva antare bhruvoh pran apano samo kritva nasyabhya antarcharino yatendriye manobuddhi munirmoksh parayanah vigatichha bhayakrodho यह सदा मुक्त एव सह स्पर्शान कृत्वा बहिर्बाह्या चक्षुर्चैव आंतरे भ्रुवोः प्राण अपानौ समो कृत्वा नासाभ्यन्तरचारिणोः यतेन्द्रिय मनोबुद्धिः मुनिमोक्ष परायणाः विगत इच्छा भय क्रोधो Yah sada mukta eva saha. Krishna is saying, shutting all external sense objects, the eyes and vision concentrated between the two eyebrows, suspending the inward and outward breaths within the nostrils, thus controlling the mind, senses and intelligence. The transcendentalist becomes free from desire, free and anger. And one who is always in this state is certainly liberated. Krishna is telling Arjun the way how Ashtang Yoga is done to attain liberation. Krishna says that by shutting out all external sense objects and by keeping the eyes and vision concentrated between the two eyebrows and then suspending the inward and outward breaths within the nostrils, thus controlling the mind, senses, and intelligence. The transcendentalist becomes free from desire, anger, and fear. And one who is always in this state is certainly liberated. Let us start reading the Anvay given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnavon ki jai. Sparshan, sensual perception as sound and touch. Kritva, having put. Bahi, outside. Bahyan, external. Chakshu, the eyes. Cha and eva, certainly. Antare, between. Bhravoh, the eyebrows. Pran, apano, the inward flowing and outward flowing life airs. Samo, equal. Kritva, having focused. Nasa, abhyantar, rinav, moving within the nostrils. Are controlled. Indriya, senses. Manah, mind. Buddhi, and intelligence. Muni, sage. Moksha Parayanah is dedicated to attaining liberation. Vigat, freed. Ichha, krodh, from desire, fear and anger. Yah, who, sada, always. Muktah, liberated. Ev, certainly. Sah, he. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that he who is free from desire, fear and anger completely removes external sense objects such as sound and touch from his mind. He then fixes his vision between his eyebrows and suspends the movements of the inward and outward flowing life airs, which controls his senses, mind, and intelligence, and dedicates himself to attaining liberation. Certainly, such a sage is liberated. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that to attain liberation, there are three ways, namely Gyan Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. But before one can practice either of these three ways, one needs to be purified by practicing Karma Yoga. So, Karma Yoga is compulsory for everyone for the purification of the heart, and once the desires of all kinds of sense gratifications is completely over, then the person may pursue Jnana Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. Out of Jnana Yoga and Dhyan Yoga, Jnana Yoga seems to be difficult for many, but Dhyan Yoga can be practiced while one is in Karma Yoga. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Ashtang Yoga is practiced in Dhyan Yoga to control the senses from the sense objects, and people who are bodily centric people can start practicing the various yoga practices prescribed in Ashtang Yoga, such as one should fix one's vision between the eyebrows with half closed eyes, because if the person completely closes the eyes, then there is a high possibility that he will fall asleep. And if he keeps them completely open, then there is the possibility that he will be distracted by the objects of the senses. Thus, to ensure that neither he falls asleep nor does he get distracted, it is advised that one should keep half open eyes and then within the nostrils control the upward and downward movement of the upgoing and downgoing breath, that is the pran and apan, to maintain the balance of the life air. And those who learn to control their senses in this way of Ashtanga Yoga under the guidance of an able guru is considered to be liberated, that is, he is situated in Brahma Nirvana. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnavon ki jai. Now, we will read the purport given by Srila Prabhupada and have further more understanding of these two verses, that is the verse number 27 and 28. Srila Prabhupada says that being engaged in Krishna consciousness, one can immediately understand one's spiritual identity, that he is a part and parcel of Krishna, and being a part of Krishna, it is his duty to serve Krishna, and by serving Krishna with love, he understands the Supreme Lord Krishna completely. Here completely means that he gets to know that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, supreme proprietor, and supreme friend and well-wisher of every living entity, and he himself is an eternal servant of Krishna. Anyone who has this knowledge about the Supreme Lord Krishna and himself is to be considered to have complete knowledge, and this happens only when one is in devotional service. Now, everyone cannot all of a sudden become a true devotee of the Lord, which means completely having no desires to enjoy or laud the material world. For these kind of people who are yet to reach the stage of complete devotion, for them Jnana Yoga and Dhyan Yoga method is prescribed for the gradual progress to reach to the stage of liberation or Brahma Nirvana by controlling the senses from the sense objects. But before reaching to the level of Jnana Yoga or Dhyan Yoga, one must definitely practice Nishkam Karma Yoga. And by practicing Nishkam Karma Yoga, one has the self-realization that he is not his body, he is spirit soul. And then one starts realizing the temporary nature of this material nature and starts losing interest in the material world and wants to enjoy the spiritual bliss by the process of Gyan Yoga, that is, by the power of knowledge, and by the process of Dhyan, that is, by the path of meditation. And amongst the two, that is Gyan and Dhyan Yoga, Gyan is a bit difficult for common people to understand. But the path of Dhyan seems to be approachable by everyone, and especially who are already practicing Karma Yoga. In Dhyan Yoga, the process of Ashtang Yoga is followed, in which Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, and finally Samadhi is attained. Samadhi means being equipoised. When the material world's temporary ups and downs do not disturb the person, as he is completely immersed in the Supreme by controlling all the senses from the sense, then the person is known to be in Samadhi. Srila Prabhupada says that in the Ashtang Yoga process, one has to drive out the sense objects such as sound, touch, form, taste and smell by the pratyahar, breathing process in yoga, and then keep the vision of the eyes between the two eyebrows and concentrate on the tip of the nose with half closed eyelids. There is no benefit in closing the eyes altogether, because then there is every chance of falling asleep. Srila Prabhupada is cautioning to us that there is no benefit in closing the eyes altogether while doing the exercise, while doing the asana of Ashtang Yoga. Rather, if the eyes is completely closed, then there is always chances of falling asleep, and there is no benefit if the eyes are open completely, because then there is the hazard of being attracted by the sense objects. Prabhupada further says that the breathing movement is also restrained within the nostrils by neutralizing the up and down moving air within the body. Then Prabhupada says that by practice of such a yoga, one is able to gain control over the senses and refrain from outward sense objects, and thus one prepares himself for liberation in the Supreme. After having explained the process of Ashtanga Yoga for controlling the senses, Prabhupada says that Krishna consciousness devotional process is much easier in comparison to the Ashtanga Yoga, because in Krishna consciousness one doesn't need to shut or cut off the senses from the sense objects. Rather, a Krishna conscious devotee sees everything in connection with Krishna. So he offers everything to Krishna and then has it as Krishna Prasadam. And by doing this, automatically his senses are withdrawn from the desires of enjoying the material world. Srila Prabhupada says that one can control his senses by practicing Ashtanga Yoga, but there is always high chances of fall down, because Rishi Vishwamitra, after practicing Dhyan Yoga for 60,000 years, still he got distracted and agitated by listening to the sound of anklet bells of Menaka and had a fall down from his position. And Swami Haridas Thakur, who was chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, did not get distracted or agitated. Rather, the prostitute who had come to Haridas Thakur to lure him herself got transformed into a pure devotee of Lord Sri Krishna. So, It's very clear here that amongst all the different paths of Gyan Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, Bhakti Yoga is the easiest, but everyone cannot start Bhakti because Bhakti can be got only through a bona fide Guru who is not only the knower of the supreme truth but along with it, one who experiences the supreme bliss in association with Radha Krishna. Srila Prabhupada says that till one reaches to this level of bhakti under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, Krishna has explained to Arjun the other path of Ashtanga Yoga by which one can attain liberation. In this verse, Ashtanga Yoga is introduced, and in the 6th chapter, it will be explained in great details. I am sure that all of us have properly understood the process of Ashtanga Yoga in Dhyan Yoga, which is just being introduced to Arjun, and in the next chapter, that is the 6th chapter, Krishna is going to explain it in greater details. Now, next week we shall meet with the last verse of the 5th chapter. I request you to watch this video very carefully and share it with others, and do write in the comment box your realizations as it helps others and motivates me. Now we shall meet the next week. Till then, keep chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. I thank Srila Prabhupada and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and my Shiksha Guru, His Grace Harimohan Das Prabhuji, for explaining to us the most secretive knowledge of Bhagwat Gita in as it is form, as it was spoken to Arjun. I thank you for taking out your most valuable time to listen to the words of Krishna. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.